This is the Phillies Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Philadelphia Phillies. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
My, oh my, welcome to the program. This is Locked On Phillies Postcast. My name is Mark Farzetta. Great to have you along for the ride. Make sure you hit like and subscribe and all that stuff here on the Locked On Phillies YouTube channel. What a way to end this series with the Dodgers after a very frustrating middle game of this series. The Phillies come out with a much better approach throughout the game, getting drawing 11 walks. Just before I started the postcast, I heard on the TV there, Mike Schmidt said, I was like, I don't think I've ever seen 11 walks in the game by a Phillies team, especially with this recent core. And he might be right. Phillies were much better when it came to their approach to the plate tonight for the vast majority of this game, to the tune of 11 walks. And when they did want to tee off on a first pitch, when they did step up to the plate and had a plan in place, more times than not, they had success. And no better example of that than the third inning when Bryce Harper stepped up to the plate, jumped on a curveball, first pitch, put it in center field for an RBI single, and then Nick Castellanos came up as the base runners went station to station, and Nick Castellanos jumped on the first pitch sinker, which was fascinating because earlier in the game, he got a pitch in the exact same spot. That one was a slider at 89 miles per hour. The one that he hit out of the park for the grand slam was 89 miles per hour, a fastball, but in the same spot. And it looked like Castellanos got not handcuffed, but he had to really swing with a tight. So he really had to keep his hands in more than he normally does. And he just belted that baseball deep into the stands in left field to give the Phillies a 6-2 lead over the LA Dodgers. It was a thing to behold. And then, unfortunately, the Phillies ended up giving the lead back. Teoscar Hernandez just decided to go bonkers on the Phils today. Got the lead for the Dodgers on two different occasions, but the Phillies had an answer for it when they put up more runs. The Dodgers in the seventh inning, the Phillies were able to come back in the bottom of that seventh inning to bounce right back despite some added struggles, I should say, from Jordan Romano. And then also Orion Kerkering. Phillies were down 7-6, but go figure. Edmundo Sosa comes up today and absolutely comes up in the clutch with an RBI ground out, just hustling to make something happen there for the Phils. It didn't work out so well yesterday. It worked out well today. There was almost an exact scenario. There was the exact scenario. Runners at first and third, one out. You didn't send him this time. Interesting. I think Rob Thompson put the hold on what was the normal scenario, judging from Game 2's loss and Bryson Stott getting doubled up there. But all in all, here's what I'm happy about. The Philadelphia Phillies faced the LA Dodgers in the 3-game series and won that series. This is not just the third series of the season for the Phillies. This is a team that you would likely face in the postseason, a team you would likely face in the NLCS. This is bigger than just series number 3 of the regular season. And I said after the first game of this series in the shorts that we do here to help support the help get the word out about the Locked On Phillies postcasts, I said, I've never been more, I can't remember the last time. I've never been more excited for a third series of a season, for games 7, 8, and 9 of a regular season of 162 games, more so than I was looking forward to and excited about this series here against the Dodgers. And the Phillies defended their home turf, winning the series 2-1. Loved what I saw for the most part from the Phillies today. There were some, if I'm a Dodgers fan, which I'm not, if I'm a Dodgers fan, I'm enraged at Brian Roberts today. How are you taking out Tyler Glasnow? Now, look, I understand that he lost the strike zone horribly, but you take out Glasnow and you bring in a left-handed pitcher to face Nick Castellanos? Just for context, Nick Castellanos last year, 23 home runs, 13 of those home runs came off right-handed pitching. 10 of those home runs came off left-handed pitching. Here's to make it simpler. Against right-handed pitching, Nick Castellanos hit a home run every 35 at-bats. Every 35 at-bats against a righty, he hit a home run. Every 16 at-bats against a lefty, he hit a home run. I don't think with the bases loaded, I'm going to bring in a lefty to face him. And that was a huge mistake there by Brian Roberts. Quick hook there for Tyler Glass. And look, I get it. I absolutely get it. He didn't have it. That's where they went in the bullpen. Handed the Phillies 4 runs, in essence. All in all, thrilled with what the Phillies had to offer today. Thrilled with the fact that the Phillies went out there and got those 11 walks. And then when they needed clutch hits, they got a clutch hit. Big challenge today. A couple other guys will highlight. Big challenge today for Rafael Marchand. He came up and ended up with 3 walks, I believe it was. Rafael Marchand, 3 walks today, which was great to see for him. And then also Edmundo Sosa getting the start at third base today for Alec Boehm. He delivered. Absolutely delivered. 2 infield base hits today. Should be 1 infield base hit. Then he had the infield. He had the ground out to get the run home, the game-winning run, make it 8-7. And then also another one I think he deposited into left field. So he kept swinging a hot bat for this Phillies team. Love to see it from this offense. We'll continue to break it down as the show goes on today. But before we go any further,
this is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Here you go. Without question, Nick Castellanos getting that grand slam for your fighting Phils in the 3rd inning today was ginormous. That look, you're bleeding the Dodgers out essentially. It's just drip, everybody's just a little bit. And then you needed somebody to come up and get the big hit. Nick Castellanos was the one that came up in a big hit. Again, you go into that inning, bottom of the 3rd inning, you're down 2-0. Rafael Marchand comes up, works a 5-pitch walk on glass now. Then Kyle Schwarber comes up, unfortunately goes 3-0 and then 3-2. Then he works a walk, though. He kept you on the edge of your seat. Then 1st and 2nd with nobody out, Trey Turner worked a walk, got a 3-2 pitch that missed. Bases loaded, nobody out. Bryce Harper comes up. Now, this is an interesting thing. We're going to pause it right here. Bryce Harper goes up swinging at the first pitch. I know that there's like in football, I guess the only equation like a run to pass ratio, run the football, throw the football, things like that. People make a big deal, and sometimes it's not worthy of making it a big deal. The first pitch, I think, is a very similar thing, and people make this a big deal when I don't think it's that big a deal. However, if there's anybody I'm giving the green light to in this situation, Harper didn't like it. Harper has been missing fastballs. Now, he teed off on a curve. When I say teed off, he timed a curveball perfectly, put it in the center field, got the RBI single, made it a 2-1 game. But he swung at the first pitch. He has been missing. I don't know if he was guessing first pitch curveball, but he jumped on it, and it resulted well. The result was great. I can't argue with the result. I can't argue with the philosophy. I thought Harper would be a little bit more patient at that at bat, but whatever, they got to run home. Next batter. Nick Castellanos steps up there again against the left-handed pitcher. Now again, this was after the wild pitch. Kepler's at the plate. They have the wild pitch from Glasnow. Bases loaded still. Nobody out. Glasnow's out. Vezina comes in. Castellanos steps up to the plate. 2-2 game. Vezina puts a fastball middle of the plate high, and Castellanos just puts a great swing on it. And that was the big difference maker in the game. Anytime you get a grand slam, that's usually the biggest difference maker. It certainly applies to this philosophy because Nick Castellanos went out there today and delivered. When the Phillies had the biggest opportunity of the game, which was in that 3rd inning, Nick Castellanos made sure that he didn't miss that ball and the Phillies didn't miss their opportunity. Without question, no doubt about it, the player of the game, Nick Castellanos. As for what changed the tides of the game,
time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Now, look, you could obviously just go right back to that. You could obviously just say Nick Castellanos was the turning point with that grand slam, and yes, it was the absolute biggest play of the game. However, that was only the first of 2 comebacks by your Philadelphia Phillies today because, for whatever reason, Rob Thompson, old Tinker-Topper, decided, hey, I think Jordan Romano would be doing really well here. So he brings in Jordan Romano, who has been struggling mightily since joining the Philadelphia Phillies. He goes up there, and Pages, who goes out there, the center fielder there for the Dodgers, Pages has been struggling throughout this game. Not against Jordan Romano. He gets a single to center field. Then Ohtani steps up there, 3-2 slider, misses. He works a walk. 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Betts steps up there. He puts one into the outfield for a long a long double. Left center field, he put it out there. Romano goes out. Kerkering comes in. It's already a 6-5 ball game. The Phillies went into that inning down up 6-4. Brandon Marsh. Holy pots and pans, Brandon Marsh. Orion Kerkering comes into the game. 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. Tommy Edman steps up to the plate, hits a shallow fly ball to center field, and Brandon Marsh comes in, makes a great catch, sliding catch, pops up, fires in, saves the run from scoring from third. You might just see yourself out of this inning. Great play by Brandon Marsh. However, the unfortunate thing is who steps up to the plate but the hottest hitter for the LA Dodgers in this game, Teoscar Hernandez. And Teoscar Hernandez did not miss. Another opportunity for Teoscar Hernandez to do some damage, and he did. Long fly ball, deep right field, ends up being a sac fly that tied the game at 6. Betts goes to third on this one. Next batter up against Orion Kerkering. Will Smith puts it off the top of the right field wall over the head of Nick Castellanos. Brandon Marsh backing up the play very well, charges in, makes the play, fires it in. It's a 7-6 game, though, at this point for the LA Dodgers. They take their second lead of the game. Fortunately, after that, Michael Conforto grounded out to Bryce Harper at first base, and that was that. But still, the damage had been done. 7-6 in favor of the Dodgers. Until the bottom of the 7th inning, where the Phillies responded beautifully. Bryce Harper leads off with a double to center field. Max Kepler steps up. He works a walk, exercises some patience in that at-bat. Nick Castellanos flies out to right. And then Bryson Stott steps up to the plate with Bryce Harper on second base still. Runner on first and second, 1 out. Bryson Stott, humpback liner, just drops in beautifully into right field. Bryce Harper, I wouldn't advise this to the kids playing the sport, but Bryce Harper is just going on contact practically. That ball was almost caught at second. Bryce Harper just kept going. I was when they showed it, I was like, wow, is he going to hold up? Because he probably had to hold up there leaving second base because he's not sure whether or not that ball was going to be caught. Nope, he was pretty sure. He knew exactly what was happening. He just went just out of the reach. Drops into shallow right field for what turned out to be an RBI single. All in all, now all of a sudden you're tied at 7 and things are looking up for the Phillies. You know, at the worst case scenario, at the 9 innings, you might get some free baseball. Humpback liner from Bryson Stott. RBI single from Bryson Stott. Then Edmundo Sosa steps up. Edmundo Sosa stepped up to the plate. He gets a 2-2 brushback. Here's my favorite thing about this play, about this at bat. Who I forget who was pitching, but anyway, brushes him back. Sosa hits the dirt, flies out of the way, 2-2 up and in fastball. Sosa bounces off the ground, gets up and just starts digging his back right leg into the batter's box like I ain't afraid of anything, baby. And then Edmundo Sosa on a 3-2 pitch grounds into a 5-4 fielder's choice that he busts it down the line, allowing Max Kepler to score the game-winning run. It would have been an inning-ending double play, but instead he busted down the line. Next up, Brandon Marsh flies out the right field, and that was that. But the Phillies have taken the 8-7 lead. Jose Alvarado, easy peasy in that 9th inning to slam the door on the Dodgers and take the series 3-2. You love to see it. When we come back, we'll take your comments. Also, when we come back, we'll also kick around what you'll be kicking around tomorrow from this game and what specifically was so odd about last night's controversial play with Bryson Stott and today's controversial play that took place in that 7th inning that ended up really helping the Phillies out. That's what we'll talk about when we come back. This is Locked On Phillies Postcast and Locked On Sports Philadelphia or Locked On Phillies YouTube channel. Excuse me. Make sure you like and subscribe. You got me for all your postcast needs. You got Connor Thomas every day for your daily Locked On Phillies podcast. Back after this. Just ingredients. When it comes to fueling your body, quality matters. That's why Just Ingredients is changing the game with clean, high-quality products designed to support better health and peak performance. Just Ingredients offers NSF-certified line of protein powder, electrolytes, pre-workout, and creatine, so you can make sure you're always feeling rigorously tested and ready to go. It also ensures free from substances when it comes to the product, banned by major athletic organizations. Just Ingredients has also partnered with 2-time MVP Bryce Harper, who trusts their NSF-certified sports line to fuel his training and recovery. Clean and transparent ingredients, what they offer. I love Just Ingredients, prioritizes some wholesome, nourishing ingredients without artificial junk. It also fuels performance Whether you're recovering from a workout or need an energy boost, their grass-fed whey protein pre-workout deliver real results. Justingredients.us. Visit justingredients.us and use promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. And for more wellness tips, follow at justingredients on Instagram. How about the Game Time app? Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Because there's nothing better than going to a live baseball game, the crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, the smell of the ballpark food. And if you're looking to go last minute to a game, Game Time makes it easier than ever to get tickets. With last-minute ticket deals, all-in pricing, and the lowest price guarantee from the Game Time app, Game Time takes the stress out of buying MLB tickets. Plus, ticket prices drop as the game gets closer and closer, meaning you can score an incredible deal through the Game Time app. Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Locked On Phillies Postcast, and it's coming up. It's fantastic, so you got to take advantage. Spontaneous game night? You can do that with the Game Time app. Game Time Picks feature on the Game Time app, that filters out all the fluff so you see exactly what you're buying, and at the same time, you see the best price for what you're buying. Best seats at the lowest prices guaranteed when it comes to the Game Time Picks feature on the Game Time app. So once again, download the app, create an account, use promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Before we go any further, let's take a look at pitching box score today. Cristopher Sanchez, 5 2/3. Teoscar Hernandez is the one that got to him more than anything. 4 earned runs is what he gave up, 4 runs in total, 6 hits, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts for Cristopher Sanchez through 5 2/3. I didn't mind when he was taken out of the game, but in that 6th inning, he started out at 80 pitches. He ended up striking out Michael Conforto on a sinker, then got Max Muncy to fly out to center field. Sanchez came out, Ruiz came in, and he faced Kike Hernandez and got him to fly out to shallow right field in a ball that was fielded by Bryson Stott. That's how that one went down. Ruiz got his one out. Romano struggled, obviously charged for 3 runs in this one. Kerkering charged for no runs. Give up that 1 hit, though. Matt Strom came in, did a great job out of the bullpen, getting out of his 8th inning. And then Jose Alvarado. I just need 10 pitches. That's it, 10 pitches to get through that 9th inning. How about that? He gets his 2nd save of the season and the Phillies' 2nd save on the year. As for the lineup, Nick Castellanos, 4 RBIs, thanks in large part to the grand slam, obviously, in the 3rd inning to help the Phillies break out in that inning. Then Kyle Schwarber drew 2 walks in the game. Trey Turner drew 2 walks in this game. Max Kepler, 2 walks. And I mentioned Rafael Marchand tallying 3 in the ballgame. I referenced this yesterday. Maybe this is potentially what you'll be kicking around tomorrow, but I'll get to the main thing in a second. When it comes to the situation the Phillies faced in the 7th inning, similar to the way I feel about Edmundo Sosa. About the way I felt last night about Kyle Schwarber. You had a first and 3rd situation in the 7th inning, similar to the way you did in the 5th inning of Game 2 of this series. 1st and 3rd, 1 out. Yesterday, you had Kyle Schwarber. I, again, did not like Bryson Stott going from first on that. I listened to the post-game, the post-game press conference from Rob Thompson after the game. He acted so nonchalant about, oh, yeah, that's exactly what it's 1st and 3rd. You got 1 out. You're trying to avoid the double play. Well, I understand grounding into a double play. However, and this is something I wanted to double check because I'm like, Kyle Schwarber, I don't really have a big memory of him, like a solid memory of him grounding into a lot of double plays. Sure. Where did you know it? That of all the everyday players for the Phillies last year, whenever he had 690 plate appearances, Kyle Schwarber, he grounded into the fewest double plays. In all of last year, do you know how many double plays Kyle Schwarber grounded into? 6. Okay? So grounding into a double play is not something I'm worried about when it comes to Kyle Schwarber, which obviously supports the idea that I had last night of not allowing Bryson Stott to take off on contact or on the pitch. So anyway, I figure, well, if it was so nonchalant for Rob Thompson in Game 2 of this series, then he's absolutely going to send Bryson Stott from first base with Edmundo Sosa at the plate. He's going to send Stott this time. He did not. And the crazy thing was, it was a grounder to third that ended up being a 5-4 fielder's choice because Stott was busting it down the line and beat out the throw. So what happened? I'm going to listen to, when the show's done, I'm going to listen to Rob Thompson again. I'm going to see if he reversed course or said it was some kind of different situation. But last night he was like, oh, no, of course this is what you do. And then today he didn't do it. Why? Anyway, ended up working. They win the game. I'm not complaining. I'm just curious. I'm asking questions here. As for what I know you'll be talking about tomorrow,
This is what you'll be talking about.
you're going to be talking about how the Phillies just took 2 or 3 from the Dodgers. How Nick Castellanos just went out there and hit a grand slam. That's what you're going to be talking about. You're going to be talking about how the Phillies walked 11 times in this game to beat the Dodgers. And, hey, maybe drawing walks is a good thing, right? That's what we're probably going to be talking about tomorrow, as well as the Phillies having to take on, not the Dodgers, but the Atlanta Braves, who the Phillies got on tap starting Tuesday in Atlanta. So that'll be a little bit of a later start time. Phillies have the off day tomorrow, 7:15 in Atlanta. They got Wheeler on the mound, then Walker, then Luzardo going up against Sale, Schwellenbach, and then Smith Schwarber coming up of the Braves. That's who the Phillies will be facing in the next 3 games. So big test taking on the Dodgers. They win that test. They pass that test by winning 2 out of 3. Not too bad. And then they'll face the 1-8 Atlanta Braves. Their game today against the Marlins was rained out. So that's the way that one went down in Atlanta. So the Phillies will hopefully keep this going up against the Braves. Let's get into the chat check and see how you wonderful people are doing on this fine Sunday early evening. Can we play Johnson Wall? Can we please cut Romano ASAP? By the way, so a fellow Italian-American gentleman wrote me and said, you would think with somebody with your surname would know how to pronounce Romano, okay? The player refers to himself as Romano, so mi scusi, mi dispiace. That's how I have to say it, at least by my code. If I shake a man's hand and he says his name, and then I say it, that's how he says his name. Michael Franco, remember him, the third baseman for the Phils? When I met him, he said his last name was Franco, and I was like, I'm gonna have to say Franco now. And then I remember talking to Andres Blanco, if you remember him for the Phils. Andres Blanco was like, yeah, no, that's how you say his name. He's like, my name's not Blanco. And I'm like, that's a great point. Thank you. And then you know what? The next year, not that I did this, but Michael Franco wanted it this way. The Phillies broadcast team even started calling it Franco. Franco. Lo siento. Started calling him Franco. There you go. Romano, no mano. But a win is a win. Very nice, Jess. Thank you, Jess Patrick. Morgan Landy, Romano is stealing money. Evelyn, 3 big things. Casty slam, Marsh's catch. Very nice. Alvarado with a great 9th inning. Romano can sit down. I thought I was throwing strikes, Deborah. Sorry. Anyway, great big test will be the Giants. Yes, Chris Moore. That will be a big one. That's not, I don't even know. When do they face the Giants? That's, we got a minute before they face the Giants? Yeah, we got a minute before they face the Giants. They don't face the Giants until bing, bang, boom, June 6th, 7th, and 8th. So that'll be some time. Evelyn Farzy, how does that Marsh catch compare to last year's Angels in the outfield? Wait, the Angels? I'm trying to think, which is a terrible thing. I remember that no-look catch that he had when he was blinded in Seattle. I'm trying to think of the other one. Scored 5 runs on 11 walks tonight. That's huge. There you go. Thank you, Jason Johnson Wall. Bam Man 100. Realize Romano is coming off a very serious injury, but if we don't see improvement, yeah, I'm not cutting him, but I haven't been impressed. Bam Man says Evelyn. Christopher Michael. I wish the team could hit sack flies, as do I. Jason. Oh, the word escaped. Jeremy, what's going on? Happy we escaped today with the win. Was Topper trying to give it away? I think Brian. I think Brian Roberts gave it away in the other dugout tonight. Yeah, let me bring a lefty against Nick Castellanos with the bases loaded. What could go wrong? Mikey B, what a win for the boys. I know, right? Sir Sketchable, love Edmundo. Simply, hello. Eric, what's going on? Hey, Mark, great series win after yesterday's loss. Glad we got a good team again this year. Absolutely. Can't wait to watch the highlights. I had to work. Oh, Simply, I'll do the play-by-play for you in another chat. No, I'm just kidding. Marchand called a good game. Yeah, how about Cristopher Sanchez shaking him off a couple of times? I did notice that, and I like Rafael Marchand a lot, and I want him to obviously keep playing baseball for the Phillies. But there's going to be a learning curve. There's going to be a learning curve when it comes to learning the pitching rotation, no doubt about that. Bing, bang, but Star Wars 99, Romano makes Tanner Banks. Oh, Romano makes Tanner Banks look like a flamethrower. That's funny. Joe Ross, I guess, not available tonight, Jeremy. I guess. I don't know. Polobuck left the game. Casty's grand slam didn't go over well. Not. So, hi, Marsh has to go. Well, Marsh had a great play today. I'm not mad at Marsh today. Romano gives me Noah Syndergaard vibes. Wow, that's an interesting one. I'll have to look at that. Mikey B. So another 2 or 3 in Atlanta. Which game do y'all think we're losing? That's a great question. Which game do I think we're losing? Well, Nola's not pitching, so technically they're not allowed to lose those games. Somebody, oh man, did I forget the guys? I want to give him proper credit because I told him I'd give him credit because he hit up the show after the show yesterday. Stephen Mole 8878 or Mall, I don't know. Steven, basically. Steven says the Phillies are 6 and Nola. So now they're 7 and Nola. That's what they are. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are great as per usual. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on the Locked On Phillies YouTube channel. Again, you got me, Mark Farzetta, for your postcast needs. And then you got Connor Thomas Daly for your Locked On Phillies podcast. So make sure you guys like and subscribe to the Locked On Phillies YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'll be back with you guys tomorrow for the Sixers as they wind down their season. They got the Heat in Miami. So I'll be doing that game, 7:30 tip-off on Locked On Philadelphia Sports YouTube channel for Locked On 76ers Postcast. Tuesday night, I'll be back with you guys right here for Locked On Phillies Postcast after hopefully taking Game 1 against the Atlanta Braves. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your night. And, of course, go Phils. Enjoy the victory. See you guys tomorrow night for Locked On Sixers. Bye.